Listen to this woman confront Governor Newsom.
Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Why was there no water in the hydrants, Governor?
That's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be. Has to be. Of course.
Did you hear at the beginning of that soundbite? He said, I'm literally talking to the president right now.
He lied.
He just told that woman. That woman is talking about that's her kid's school. They've lost everything at the school. The school is gone. And she is in distress. And what does he do? He lies to her.
Just flat out lies.
How many people has he lied to this week?
He lies all the time. That's the whole thing with him. And when you look at, Brian is so right about all of these progressive states and cities. You even go all the way to New Orleans and see what the mayor did. You don't know the different assets that you have to protect the sidewalk. That's what's happening in California. And the Republicans have to take this moment as an opportunity to show effectiveness. I think Ron DeSantis, the governor of Virginia, should go to California.
Governor Beshear of Kentucky.
And show them how it's done. Bring your resources there. We heard the president of the United States talking about generators. Why didn't y'all have generators already staged if you need them? The military planes, okay? Brian brought up an interesting point yesterday about them flying through the smoke. They're just now getting the military planes there. Why didn't y'all have those pre-staged? And then Ainsley, we can't leave out that the mayor wasn't there.
Well, exactly. And all these celebrities are now speaking out. That lady, that frustrated lady, was on with Jesse last night. And Jason Bateman's sister, what's her first name? Justine Bateman was on, and she was so frustrated, too. And this is James Wood. Because remember, President Biden said he blamed this on climate change. James Wood says this fire is not from climate change, you ignorant blank hole. It's because liberal idiots like you elect liberal idiots like Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass. One doesn't understand the first thing about fire management, and the other can't fill the water reserves.
Well,
reservoirs.
Across the board, there's been a failure to figure out, to pre-plan, to pre-position. Karen Bass, the mayor out there, she declared a state of emergency, and then she flew to Ghana. And it's like, okay, there's going to be something.
17 hours.
There's going to be something that's going to change the arc of this city forever. And what is she at? She's at a ceremonial inauguration. From start to finish, all the way from the local neighborhoods right up to the top guy, Joe Biden. They got to figure out what went wrong. The mayor does not like being pressed. Why wasn't there water? Why didn't you pre-plan? Why'd you cut the budget? There's a little bit of what went on yesterday out in the City of Angels that was angry at her.
We're almost 48 hours after this fire started. There's not resources up there. The hydrants aren't working. Where's the National Guard? Where are miles and miles of water tenders? How are we addressing this?
Well,
your reaction?
First of all, you asked me, was I frustrated by this? Of course, because we all know that this has been an unprecedented event. We also know that fire hydrants are not constructed to deal with this type of massive devastation, and that the number one problem, especially on Wednesday, was the fact that we weren't able to do the air support because of the winds. And so, of course, I am absolutely frustrated by that. I am not sure that is correct, that there are no resources up there, but rest assured, as soon as we are done here, I will follow up on that.
I will say this. I'm wondering how many how many flights were grounded because President Biden was going to Los Angeles to visit his great-granddaughter. So that has to be investigated, too. Did you clear out the airspace that could have been used? How did the president get in?
Here's the thing, too. We learned a lot after Katrina, right?
Yeah, we did.
When you had that hurricane that went into North Carolina, no one was expecting that. But in California, you do expect wildfires. Right. They happen all the time. So when you're the mayor, you would think you would have the proper tanks. The tanks would be filled to the brim. They're saying they were, but are they? Were they?
They didn't have enough.
And they didn't have enough, so you build more. It's just like what happens in New Orleans. After the hurricane came through, they built up the levee system. They fixed it.
Well,
They
she
tried,
also
at least.
said that the hydrants weren't properly staged in a way that could sustain a fire like this. You're in California. Why wouldn't you
So
have
build
that
them.
universally
Yeah, fix them.
in the state if you're at risk? I know that this is different from LA. They haven't experienced anything like this in LA before. But there's always the risk, which is why the people try to get the insurance as a result of that.
But yet we can name 4 major fires right in that area.
100%.
So you
So
can't
don't
tell
give
me.
an excuse.
Here's one question. When you have your emergency management meetings, you know we're in your windbreakers. If there's a fire that goes through 5 counties, would we be able to fight it? And if the answer, obviously, is no, and that's not good enough.
Now, the police chief there tried to give her some cover in the press conference, but there's a memo of the police chief at the time saying, look, this is going to hurt us. We don't have the proper resources. Guys, we've heard some reports from firemen. Let's take the water out of it. Firemen didn't even have the proper equipment. How does that happen? How do you explain that firemen didn't have the proper
their
equipment?
budget was cut.
Yeah,
$17 million.
The owner of the LA Times, historically a left-leaning newspaper, wrote on X last night, fires in LA are sadly no surprise, yet the mayor led the LA Fire Department, cut the LA Fire Department budget by $23 million. Okay, so when we think, if there are budget cuts, what do you think? Okay, not as many trucks? No, it's across the board. They can't afford to hire enough mechanics. They've got yards full of fire trucks and fire engines that cannot leave the field because they don't work. They need mechanics. It's from start to finish. And what have we heard from California? You know, from this couch, we have reported about all the crazy, super liberal policies over the last couple of decades. And over the last couple of months since the election, what has California been doing? They've been trying to Trump-proof California. You know what? They should have fireproofed it. And what they should have done is they should have planned for a really big fire because it happened this week.
No, they're focused on these DEI recruitment videos that focus on that when they should have been focusing on the things that keep people safe.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.